It was the first day of spring in Dragonvale. Celeste woke up to see and hear the sound of robins singing on her window pane. She woke up to open her window to smell the morning air. It's the first day of spring, and the robins are here to sing, Celeste said, admiring the morning air. She could see the snow melting from the roof of the school. It was sure spring today, and Celeste wanted to go and admire the air, but she would have to get dressed first. After Celeste got dressed, she walked outside for the fresh air at the school. What a nice day, spring is finally here, Celeste sighed. I agree. There's barely any snow left on the ground, Lydia said, sweating from her scarf. I couldn't wear my snow clothes on, it's too warm out here. I'm just here with my sweater and boots, and the birds are back, Celeste said. Mother must have sent them to wish us a happy spring. Celeste then saw Lambert in a tree, chilling to the spring air. Even Lambert is enjoying it. Winter is fun while it lasted. We built snowmans and snow forts, Lydia added, had snowball fights. At least winter is now over. We get sick of winter after a while. I'm glad spring is here, Celeste said, as she spotted something in the front of her. It happened to be a bag of coins. What's this? She asked as she picked up the bag of coins. It looks like a bag of coins to me. You should keep it for a while, Lydia replied, until we find someone who lost it. Great idea, Lydia. I love the smell of spring. Celeste then walked up to a tree where Lambert was lying on the branch. He was watching something. Lambert, what are you looking at? Celeste asked. Then Lambert was looking at a bird's nest. There's a bird's nest with eggs inside, so that means baby birds are in there, Lydia said, looking into the nest to see eggs. And you're not going to eat them, young lion cub, Celeste stated as Lambert as she took the hold of the lion cub. I know lions eat meat, but I can't bear to see Lambert kill baby birds that haven't hatched yet. I don't like the idea of it either, but it's life, Lydia replied. She then turned to Lambert. And you, Mr. Lambert, why did you run off at the school like that without anyone knowing? Just as Lydia said that, Nancy showed up with Nathaniel. There's Lambert and the girls, Nathaniel said, as Nancy walked up towards Celeste and Lydia. Hey girls, I'm glad you found Lambert, Nancy said to Celeste and Lydia before scolding Lambert about running off. You naughty lion cub, you shouldn't not be going after birds or running off like that. Nancy took Lambert as she scolded the lion cub. Isn't this a beautiful day, is it? Celeste asked. It sure is, Celeste. We are wondering where you two were, Nathaniel replied. We were just out smelling the spring air, Lydia answered for Celeste. I think you girls should go on a trail ride. The horses are in the stable, Nancy said, as she suggested the idea for the girls to do. Jack with Haley, Zach, and Robert are working in the garden in the school. Well, it sounds great. That is just what we needed, Lydia replied, as she got a head start of walking towards the stables. Before Celeste could go after Lydia, she hugged her father. It's a nice day for spring. Mother must have sent spring to us, Celeste said to Nathaniel. I'm sure she did, dear. I just wish she was still with us, Nathaniel replied sadly, which made Celeste frown. She missed her mother, and she hated to see her father sad on the first day of spring. At the stable, Celeste walked to find a Belgian draft horse saddled up with her. She can see that Lydia was all ready to go, and she was going to ride a quarter horse. You got this guy ready for me? Celeste asked. Haley was here not too long ago, so she got your horse ready for you, Lydia replied. And it's Sage, if you're wondering who it is. Well, that was nice of her. I'll have to thank Haley later, Celeste said. Then she got Sage's bridle on within a few minutes. I see you got Charming ready. Yep, the other horse I was going to ride has an injury on his flank, Lydia replied. The girls took their horses and headed outside the stables. Lydia and Celeste hopped on their horses with the help of the fence that they used. Where shall we head off to? Celeste asked as she and Lydia started walking while on horseback. Why don't we go on a trail? I spotted one that goes into the forest more, Lydia suggested. That is what Celeste wanted to hear. The girls headed down the path for the forest. While heading down the path, there were birds flying everywhere. The leaves are growing on the trees and the grass is turning green, Celeste said, pointing at the leaves and at the grass. Nature is sure waking up after its long rest. As the girls walked on horseback, Lydia could see pink petals falling from the nearby patch of cherry blossoms. Hey Celeste, The cherry blossoms have woken up, and I have those pink petals here, so spring has sprung good, Lydia replied. I remember the cherry blossoms by the school. The mages planted them there when I was a little girl. Those memories are my favorite parts about spring. Celeste sighed. She then saw a deer in the distance. There's a deer not far from here. You see the antlers? Celeste pointed at the deer not far from where she and Lydia were. I see him. Boy, he is handsome-looking deer, Lydia replied. The girls had to be quiet as to not scare the deer off. Then a small little hideout there was another deer with a fawn. There's another one, and it looks like that deer had a baby. I could see it, so the fawn does look so cute and precious, Celeste agreed. This is another thing about spring. The animals are coming out of their hibernation, and babies are born. The fawn seems to be born sometime today, since it's spring, Lydia said. Mother has sent us spring all right. I'm just grateful for her for doing that, Celeste replied. Then they continued on their trail ride. After a few minutes went by, Celeste and Lydia saw raccoons, badgers, squirrels, and chipmunks running around the forest. The critters are up and moving. They are sure glad spring is here, Celeste chuckled. They sure are. Hey, want to race to that meadow through this path? Lydia asked. You're on! Celeste cheered playfully as she and the girls on horseback raced towards the meadow. Within a few moments, they reached the meadow and the ground was still a little muddy from the snow melting, but the grass was still turning green. I think that was a tie, Lydia said, as she and Celeste admired the view of the school on the hill of a meadow. We can see the school from here. Summer will be coming eventually, but for now, let us enjoy spring by making the best of it. Celeste sighed as she felt relaxed. She then sure likes spring as much as Lydia does. The boys and Haley should come up here and get out here and smell the spring air. They're missing this. How about we pull them out here after lunch? That should get them moving, Lydia suggested, and Celeste liked the idea. The girls headed back towards Dragonvale for lunch and told the boys with Haley about their adventure. So after lunch, the boys and Haley went out, leaving Celeste and Lydia tired from their adventure.